I would see other women who were, I don't know, call them whiners, victims. I have a friend who used to call them Bambis, after the poor little deer. And I'd see, everyone coming to their rescue. And I'd say, well, Jesus, nobody ever comes to my rescue. Of course, it didn't occur to me that nobody thought I needed help. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Silver and Sensational. You know me as the Lo, or I, as in Lois Mills. And thank you so much for tuning in. Certainly appreciate your loyalty and your viewership. What I'm going to talk about today is something that I have struggled with and actually still do for the better part of my life. And that is having difficulty asking for help. I was raised to be very independent and self-sufficient. I think those of you who may have been with me since the beginning know that I was a latchkey kid back in the day when I think my mother was the only one that worked. So I've kind of been on my own, taking care of myself since the age of 7. And believe me, if the way I was raised were projected to today, people would have called Children's Protective Services. But then that's true for most of us of our generation. I mean, after all, we rode bicycles without helmets and elbow pads and shin pads. And and we survived all of it. And so having learned this as a child, I think I also learned, in addition to knowing how to take care of myself, I learned not to be dependent on other people because it was disappointing. I've really pretty much gone through life without asking for help. To me, it was an embarrassment to do that. I can think back to a few times when, I really should have reached out to people because I was in a great deal of pain, but it was, for me, such an embarrassment to have anybody think that I wasn't the strong, independent woman that I projected myself to be. So, as a result, I found that I would see other women who were, call them whiners, victims. I have a friend who used to call them Bambis, after the poor little deer. And I'd see, everyone coming to their rescue. And I'd say, well, Jesus, nobody ever comes to my rescue. Of course, it didn't occur to me that nobody thought I needed help because I was the one that they came to when they needed help. I don't know if it's the impending move, which is I'm, really so overwhelmed by all of it that I have been out there asking people for help. And guess what? They're stepping up to the plate and offering help and wanting to help. And it gives me such an incredible feeling of being loved that I never really experienced before because I didn't allow myself to reach out to people to show them that I was weak in certain areas, I was vulnerable, and I was needy. Now, I will tell you, all those 3 conditions I've just described so go against my grain. But I'm learning that it's okay to do it. The one thing I want to pass on to any of you who are maybe in the same situation where it's hard for you to ask for help. And, and just an aside, turning the age I'm going to be turning in a month, I have to say that part of it is I don't want to be perceived as this elderly person who is waddling along needing help. So one of the things I gave a great deal of thought to before reaching out is to accept that some people just may not want to or can't help. And so I had to be prepared for those answers and not be judgmental about, well, they don't, I did this for them. They didn't do this for me. This is not going to be part of my persona in doing the asking. I have to say that the first time I felt so vulnerable is when I had my heart attack. And I found that, I was reduced to being in a wheelchair, to be wheeled into the doctor's office and across the street for blood work. It was so humiliating for me. But at the same time, I have to tell you the number of people, because this particular street is filled with all doctors' offices and labs and all this other stuff. I had at least 2 or 3 people come up to me, pat my hand and say, I don't know what it is, but I wish you good luck with your health. How they didn't know this wasn't a permanent thing, I don't know. But I did need to ask for help, and I got it in the form of the most wonderful nurse that came to take care of me. Lupe, otherwise known as PETA, she was invaluable, and that was 10 years ago, and I have become like a godmother to her, and to this day, she still looks out for me. And she brought another person into my life that is right there to help whenever I need anything, and we spent the most glorious time in Paris with her, and that is Gabby. So I find my young friends to be, jumping on the bandwagon to give me help. And all of you who know Jessica, because she's been with me, she is coming out for my birthday, the first part of August. But it was not only to celebrate my birthday, but also to help me with all of the things I need to do to prepare for my move. Now, I had my cousins from Chicago come to spend just 3 short days with me. They left yesterday afternoon, and they were right there to help, telling me that anything I need before I move, just call. They will fly out, do whatever to help me. You remember my old co-host, Tom? Another one, always there to say, what can I do? Because I am saying I'm overwhelmed. I need help. So I reached out to a gal that I've known for about 10 years, Laura, who has been just a wonderful woman, came out, I met her through a mutual friend when she was starting up a business here in LA, a resale shop. And we continued to be friends. And lo and behold, when I moved into this place, she lives right across the street. And Laura is one of those people that whatever she does superbly well. And I know that she's done a couple of estates, and she's excellent at organizing and all of this. And she, too, I had breakfast with her last week, and I said, I know you got a full-time job. I don't know if you can do this, but I really need your help. And boy, it didn't take her but 1 second to say, I'm going to do whatever I can. We'll put together a team. So what I can say is, you got to let people know that you need help. It is just amazing how many people step up to the plate. So I am more than thrilled with the response that I have gotten. It also gives me, listen, to say I'm not anxious about making this move would be to lie. And, I'm certainly not going to try to say, oh, this is so exciting. I can't wait to do it. Yeah, it's exciting. I can't wait to do it. But it is pretty overwhelming when you need to get rid of everything that you've had in your life for 50 years and how to do it, where to do it, and then the actual move. So I'm praying, and I'm not a praying kind of girl, but I am praying to whatever God is up there that it goes as smoothly as I believe it will. I also want to take the time right now to let all of you know how much I appreciate all the comments that you made about my last episode. I have to say, it's just wonderful to see you comment. So I hope that you find yourself jotting down little notes on the comment boxes to say, Jesus, I loved what you said. I didn't like what you said. Why don't you try this? I want you to participate with me because I love having you involved. So if you promise me you will do that, along with, my regular routine. We have a blog now that I wish you would just go into the description, click the link, and get in on reading my blog. Then, of course, it's the usual, kids, all right? Let's subscribe if you haven't. And do try to share me with your friends and your contacts. Hit the like finger and the notification bell so that you know when we are dropping the next episode, which Jessica generally does. Now, I think we're going on at around midnight Central Time, Friday morning. And just stay tuned. Give me any comments. Let me know if there's any particular subject you want me to talk about. And in the meantime, I can't thank you enough for tuning in. I hope you got some help if you are like me and have never asked or find it so difficult to ask for help or have unrealistic expectations, any of the above that I am talking about. The things we do to ourselves that make life more difficult when there are people who care about you and love you and want to help. But if you don't tell them you need it, they don't know. So get out there and do what you can. Either offer help to people or ask for the help, but know that you do have a community that is there to support you because they love you and care about you. I hope you've enjoyed today. In the meantime, stay well, look after yourselves, and God bless. Bye now.